Hi everyone, it's Brittany from the Verb Learning Services, and this is your first vocabulary lesson of the book club. So what I have done is chosen a few vocabulary words or phrases from part one of the book Wonder, and just decided to give you a few examples and a little bit of explanation about each of them. Please comment in our Facebook group if there are other words that you're curious about or other words that you would like to explain to the group. And hopefully we can have a good discussion about it. So before we get started, there's a little bit of terminology that I would like to go over just regarding vocabulary. So you guys as English language learners are so lucky because you understand more about the meta language, meaning the language that we use to talk about language or the words about words. So what I mean by that is some of these words that you know because you've been learning English, but a native speaker might not know are words like this: an idiom, um, phrasal verbs, and collocations. So just as a review, just because you probably already know this, an idiom is when a combination of words creates a new meaning, okay? And it becomes like a set phrase or expression that's very common. So, for example, the phrase piece of cake, it means that something's really easy, right? But it does not necessarily mean a piece of cake that you eat. The next one is phrasal verbs. So what a phrasal verb is when you have a verb and a preposition, something like to or up or about, together that become a set phrase and change the meaning of both of those words. So for example, in the morning, you wake up. That's a phrasal verb. Um, when you learn something, you catch on. Okay, so those are some examples of phrasal verbs. They are super common in English, and there's always new ones getting added to the language. I feel like daily. Okay, and collocations are two words that are often used together. And again, they become almost like a pair, or like when you think of one, you think of the other. And also, they just that combination of words just sounds right to the ear of a native speaker. And as you develop your language skills, you'll start to get a sense of what sounds right and what doesn't. So, for example, if you are running late and you don't get on the bus, we call that you missed the bus. I missed the bus this morning. Okay. However, I've heard some students say lost the bus. Okay. Maybe that's a translation from their language. And I know what you mean. Anyone would know what you meant, but that's not the combination of words that we use in English. The common one is miss the bus. Okay. So now that you have these foundational terms fresh in your mind, let's go through some of the words from part one of Wonder. The first one that I've chosen is burn into. So this is a phrasal verb. And here is the passage from the book. So this is when August first starts at his new school, and he's in Miss Petosa's class. And so as you can see here where I've highlighted, "Hi, August," she said, smiling at me very nicely when I went up to get my folder. I kind of felt everyone's eyes burning into my back for the few seconds I stood in the front of the class. Okay, so burn into is like talking about something significant that leaves an impression on you. And so in this example, I kind of picture like lasers coming out of everyone's eyes. That's what it felt like to Augie. He felt like everyone was watching him. So to burn into something is a phrasal verb that we use as a verb. And it means to make a lasting impression or have a strong impact. And as a collocation, it's usually used with eyes, like somebody's eyes are burning into you, or something is burned into your memory or burned in your mind. Okay. So here are some examples. The tragic image was burned into my memory, and I felt like her eyes were burning into me because she was so angry. The next one that we can talk about is this phrase, lay of the land, or to show someone the lay of the land. So when August first goes to visit his school in the summer, and Mr. Tushman, the principal, invites some other kids to introduce him to the school, um, he says, I figure they could take you around the school a bit, show you the lay of the land, so to speak. So when you show someone the lay of the land, you're using an idiom to explain when a more experienced person teaches or helps a newer person. And it just is a way to help you make sense of a situation or understand a situation. So some examples here. Thank goodness I had Allie when I first got hired. She showed me the lay of the land. And can I ask a few questions to get a lay of the land? Just to get a better sense of what's going on here. The next one is mushed up. So mushed up is another phrasal verb. However, we actually use it more like an adjective, which I'll explain in a minute. So in this part of the story, Augie's mom is talking about the day he was born. So she says that when she looked down into my tiny mushed up face for the first time, all she could see was how pretty my eyes were. So this phrasal verb is commonly used with this word all in front of it. It's not mandatory, but you're going to hear it a lot. So to be all mushed up because it's an adjective. What it means is it's a synonym for squashed, mushed, mashed. All of these words are the same, more or less. And that's what's so crazy about English is really that mushed and mushed up have the same meaning. And you can just choose to keep it simple and say mushed if you want. For context, it's often used to describe facial expressions or people's faces or food or something like that. So, for example, I think this is a situation that's happened to many people. After being at the bottom of my purse all day, the banana was all mushed up and her face was all mushed up from her pillow. So it's like squished, okay? So that's how Augie perceives his own face as all mushed up. Okay, the next one here is no matter what. So this phrase, no matter what, means that despite any obstacles, I'm definitely going to do this thing. So when August is first in Mr. Brown's class and he starts enjoying his lesson a little bit, he says, as I wrote down Mr. Brown's September precept, I suddenly realized that I was going to like school, no matter what. So as you can see, it's an expression, but it can be used as a standalone sentence. Or as you will see in my examples, sometimes we use it as a clause, so a part of a sentence with commas. So it's an idiom or expression to mean definitely, for sure, and despite all obstacles or difficulties. Some examples here, you can imagine a mother saying, don't worry about winning the game, sweetie. I'll love you no matter what. And then maybe the boy is thinking, regardless of what his mom said, the boy was determined to win no matter what. Okay, our last vocabulary word that I've selected from this section is schlep. Okay, kind of a funny sounding word. It's very informal. And here's the example. Again, on that day when August visited the school in the summer and he wanted to get out of there, him and his mom developed this excuse that they needed to pick up his sister from school. So Mr. Tushman said, wow, that's not an easy school to get into. Good for her. Thank you, said Mom, nodding. It'll be a bit of a schlep, though. The A train down to 86, then the crosstown bus all the way to the east side. Takes an hour that way, but it's just a 15-minute drive. Okay, so the way that Augie's mom is using it is as a noun, and it means a journey, a difficult journey, okay? Something that you're reluctant to do, you don't really want to do it. And then it can also be used as a verb for both ways, to go somewhere, but also to carry something heavy or to haul something. So it can be used as a verb or a noun, difficult or long journey, or to haul or carry something. And here are some examples. She schlepped the groceries through the snow. Okay, that means that she carried the groceries through the snow, and it wasn't an easy task. She didn't necessarily enjoy it. Okay, and the second example, it was a schlep to the airport during rush hour. So it wasn't an easy journey. It was kind of annoying, but we managed. Okay, so that's the end of our vocabulary lesson for this week. For part two, I'm going to be focusing on different types of grammar that we see in the chapter. So please don't forget to comment in the Facebook group if you have any questions or if there's any new words that you learned or want to discuss with the group, and any other thoughts that you'd like to share. Can't wait to hear your ideas, guys, and thanks so much for watching this video.